Morning, everyone. This is going to be our last assignment before spring break. I want you all to go into spring break caught up because we're going to have to go a little faster pace after spring break. So try to get everything caught up as much as you can. I'll probably say this in the email too, but I thought I'd stick it in here in the video. During this lockdown, I've developed this eating disorder, I think. This is what I'm having a problem with. These things are like crack cocaine. I went to Kroger and I picked up like 8 or 10 boxes of these because I want to have these after Easter. These things are incredible. The only problem is I just keep eating them non-stop, one right after another. Just so you recognize me, this is what I'll look like when we ever get back to school, especially if I can't find a way to stop eating these things. I guess I could have it worse. At least I've got food to eat, so I'm happy. All right, our next subject is discriminants. Discriminants is part of a larger concept called quadratics and quadratic formula. But I just wanted to break this down into smaller pieces. Today's will just be strictly over discriminants. As a quick review of last time, we have to think of this. You need to be able to, out of the standard form, be able to determine the A, B, and C of every quadratic equation. So if you look at this, we got 2x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals 0. So for this one, A equals 2, B equals negative 3, and it's important. The whole problem is going to be wrong if you make this just a 3. You got to be careful each time like with this to get the negatives and positives right. And finally, C equals negative 4. For both these problems, you use the sign in front of them. All right, so A, B, and C. You've got to be able to read that correctly. All right, here's the formula to find the discriminants. It's B squared minus 4AC. All right, the way to keep from making mistakes on this, and the way you're going to see this written, or I'm going to write it every time, is I'm going to write it like this. All right, B squared minus the quantity, that's what the parentheses mean, 4AC. If you do it like this, you're going to make less mistakes. All right, write this down on your paper. Definitely have it ready to go when you start the problems that I assign. All right, let's go ahead and just get started. The first problem we're going to do is 4x squared plus 7x plus 6 equals 0. Oh, and as far as what the discriminant is, right now just get the equation down. You'll see when we get to the quadratic formula what it actually means to algebra. All right, first thing I need to decide is my A, B, and C here. All right, A equals 4. Right, B equals 7. It's positive 7. There's a plus in front of it. And C equals 6. All right, let's set this equation up. This is B squared, so it's going to be 7 squared minus, and I'm going to use these parentheses, 4 times A, which is 4, times C, which is 6. All right, do the math on this. 7 squared is 49, minus 4 times 4, which is 16, times 6 equals 96. All right, we do the math. You can stick this straight in your calculator. 4 minus 96 is going to give you negative 47. That's your answer. The answer to the discriminant for this problem is negative 47. All right, here's problem number 2. In this one, we've got some minus x, minus 8. We've got some negatives going on here. So this is one you need to pay attention to. All right, again, the first thing you need to do is decide on your A, B's, and C's. If you try to keep these in your head or just skip a step and go straight to the problem, put these straight in, you're going to make a mistake. I mean, I've been there. I did it. I try to take shortcuts too, but I've learned just take your time and get this right. All right, if we do this, first thing to do is come up with our A, B's, and C's. A equals 9. B equals, we got minus x. I hope by this point in your algebra career that you see that this is going to be B equals -1. There's a 1 implied in front of that x. And finally, for C, it's going to be -8. All right, let's set this up. B squared. B is -1. So I'm going to put this in parentheses. -1 squared minus, and I'll get my brackets out here, 4. The 4 is going to be on every problem, times A, which is 9, times C, which is -8. All right, let's do the math on this. -1 squared, -1 times -1, negative times a negative is going to give us a +1. All right, you don't have the scientific calculators there, so some of these rules are going to you're going to have to remember on your own. Okay, next, inside the parentheses. All right, I'm going to do it like this. 9 times -8 is -72. All right, times 4, if you put that in your calculator, -72 times 4 is going to give you -288. Use your calculators. All right, let's do the math on this. 1 minus -288 minus a negative is going to be positive, and this is going to give you an answer of 289. So the tricky part on this is the negatives. Take your time with it. All right, use these parentheses like I showed you. All right, have these notes out in front of you when you start doing the problems. I'm going to give you, I don't know, 2 or 3 retries if you get one of these wrong. It might vary with the complexity of the problem. So just keep these out in front of you. If you get it wrong, don't get discouraged. Chances are it's going to be the negatives that probably that are giving you a false, wrong answer. All right, this is the last example I'm going to do. All right, here it is in standard form. I need to figure out my A, B's, and C's. Hopefully by now you're getting fairly quick at seeing this. My A is 3. My B is going to be -7 because I got -7x. And my C is going to be 6 because I have +6. All right, using my discriminant formula here, all right, I'm going to have B squared, which is -7 squared minus 4, it's always 4, times A, which is 3, times C, which is 6. All right, I'm going to do my -7 square first. All right, this is, I did put the parentheses around this so you know you got to multiply -7 times -7, which is going to give me a +49. Then I'm going to do everything inside the parentheses. 4 times 3 is 12, times 6 is 72. Use your calculator if you don't know your 12s. All right, equals 49 minus 72 is going to give me -23. So my discriminant is -23. All right, if this is a little confusing, the best thing I can tell you is to rewatch these videos. There's 3 problems here, and if you haven't noticed, there's a help video that they provide. You might like them better than me. Probably. These guys do it. I mean, these guys are good at what they do, so you check out their videos. I still ask that you watch mine, and I'm making it part of the grade that you watch mine. That way I know that you got everything that I wanted you to get out of the lesson. All right, guys, this is the last time I'll talk to you before spring break. Guys, I know spring break's going to be a little tainted, not a lot of trips, things like that. Still try to get out, try to have as much fun as you can. Be safe, and I will see you after the holiday.